Okay, so hi Andrew, how are you today?
Hi, I'm fine.
So you took your
Thank you.
IELTS test. How did it go?
Yeah, it was pretty interesting for me. It was first experience
Mm-hmm.
with IELTS test, and yeah,
How many
it
days
was
did you
challenging.
prepare?
Uh, I think it was like 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
but um, like the lessons with you, I think I took only on the last week. Do you
Mm-hmm.
remember?
Yeah, I think the last few days. Okay,
Yeah.
so please tell me when and where you took your test.
It was in the building of University of Texas in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Saturday, in the like the early morning,
Mm-hmm.
in the 8 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So we should be there. I think at 7 or 7:30.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
early. Did you have your coffee before the test?
Oh, I even don't sleep enough this night.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, I have my coffee,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of coffee before the test.
Okay. And how many people were there with you in one room?
There was, I think, more than 30.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So a full classroom, right?
Like, yeah.
Huh? And so the first part was listening. How did that go? And was it okay? Could you hear the audio very well?
Yeah, each of us have had like uh,
Headphones?
earphones.
Headphones?
Yeah, headphones, like wireless headphones,
Mm-hmm.
and the quality of voice was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there was no problem with quality of voice.
Okay. Oh, that's
So
nice.
and yeah, and we can concentrate only on the speech, so
Mm-hmm.
without
And
interruption.
what kind of tasks were there in the listening section?
Like I remember there was a map with the new bicycle road.
Mm-hmm.
There was a table with some services and prices for these services,
Mm-hmm.
and the last one was about Canadian squirrel.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, it was more complicated.
Well, yeah, that
Most, yeah,
normally happens. The last test, the last
that's,
listening, that was, I think, a lecture, a university lecture.
yeah, correct.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And did you have enough time to transfer your answers into the answer sheet?
Yeah, 10 minutes. It was quite enough to
Mm-hmm.
transfer the answers. Even the like I write in capital letters each
Mm-hmm.
answer.
Mm-hmm. So you capitalized all the letters in
Yeah,
each answers. That's right.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. To minimize the mistakes, right?
correct.
Okay. And which questions, which task types were the most difficult for you in the listening section?
I think it's words. For me, it was more complicated because if I miss something,
Mm-hmm.
I can't get it from elsewhere. For
Mm-hmm.
example, if I have a map and I have some letters which I already specify in my answers,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't have such with just listening some words, and
Mm-hmm.
I can't get it from context of the following sentences.
Mm-hmm.
So it
I
probably
see.
was much harder for me to specify anything in this empty space.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So how about the reading section, reading texts? So you were doing the academic version, so three big
Yeah,
texts. How did that
yeah.
go? What question types did you have?
Um, for the reading, I remember there was a text about tattooing,
Mm-hmm.
the history, like and about the usage in regions, and about like the way how how it was made before.
Okay. And
Uh,
what kind of task types? Was there any true, false, not given, matching headings to
yeah.
paragraphs? Mm-hmm.
There was true, false, not given, as well as yes, no, false,
Mm-hmm.
yes, no, not given.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of questions just with words and numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there was like paragraph and statement type of
Mm-hmm.
questions.
Okay. Nice. So, how about the most difficult question for you, a question type for you in the reading section?
Um, Actually, I think the most complex for me was the latest one because it was yes, no, not given because I don't have enough time to check all statements in entire
Mm-hmm.
text.
Mm-hmm.
And there was like statements in two sentences and two lines, so it was like hard to understand even questions,
Mm-hmm.
but without finding the answers in text.
Mm-hmm.
So probably the most like the hardest one was in the end of the test.
Uh-huh. So the last text was the
Last
most
test.
difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's normally what happens in the test, yeah. How about time? Did you have enough time to transfer your answers for the reading section?
Yes, but it was like I transfer all my answers just after the each task.
Uh-huh.
And when I started the last task, I just put the answers in the answer sheet directly. So I
Okay, I
don't
see.
transfer.
Mm-hmm. So you didn't write the answers next to the questions, you wrote them directly into the answer sheet.
Uh, yeah, I think I started with like some marks, and when I saw like that I have only 2 or 3 minutes, I just started type answers which uh, I think I know.
Mm-hmm.
I started like put it in the answer sheet.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. And you were taking paper version or computer version?
It was paper version.
Okay. How about writing? What writing tasks did you have? Let's talk about writing task one. What did you get there?
Yeah, there was a line chart in task one,
Hmm?
and it was about average height of
Oh, you mean height,
yeah,
average.
average
Mm-hmm.
height of men from 4 different countries,
Mm-hmm.
like in the range of 200 years.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah,
A line
yeah, it
graph
was.
about height.
Yeah,
And how much time did it take you to describe it?
I lose 35 minutes
Oh,
on
wow.
this task. Yeah, it was hard for me to compile all this information to the two paragraphs,
Mm-hmm.
find the features because and there also was like a printing issue when I missed like the correct country for the line,
Mm-hmm.
and I wrote a few sentences with incorrect data because
Okay.
I missed the line, and
Mm-hmm.
I should erase it and start the new sentence with the different information. So yeah, it was crazy time for me.
Well, yeah, you had to change things, right? Correct them. How about the essay? What was the topic? What type of essay was that?
Essay was about moving big companies to the neighborhoods of major cities to resolve issue with traffic jams, with housing,
Mm-hmm.
and my opinion for like what I think about it.
So it
And
was just an opinion essay, right?
no, it was uh, to what extent do I agree or disagree?
Yeah, that's an opinion essay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and do you remember what you wrote? What reasons you gave?
Yeah, I think I was like agree with the statement. I wrote a lot of like water text about the problems with traffic jams nowadays, about like rent cost and finding the apartments. So and I have like I was like totally agree that the moving big companies to the neighborhoods will resolve this issue, except one point, except like if there are no infrastructure for these companies, there are no like housing, like apartments there and shops and other stuff. There, like the problem can still exist after moving.
I see. Okay, and talking about the essay, so you obviously only had 25 minutes for it, right? To write it.
Yeah,
Wow. Did you
yeah.
manage to finish your essay, to write the conclusion?
When I saw that I have only 3 or 5 minutes, I switched to the conclusion. I wrote the conclusion, and then in the last 2 minutes, I just trying to add more text to the essay. And
Okay.
I think I have 180 words
Okay. Oh,
there.
yeah, that may not be enough. Well, we'll see how it goes. Talking about the speaking
Yeah.
part, did you have the speaking part on the same day as your written exam?
Yeah, I have after 3 hours of the main part of the exam, I have an appointment to the speaking exam. I
Okay.
don't expect this. I expect that it should be 1 week later, and I receive email with like such information, but something went wrong, and I don't prepare for speaking test as well.
So that was quite a surprise for you, right? Quite unexpected.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And what questions did they ask you in part one?
They asked me what is my name, and I made a mistake in this part. Yeah, I like they asked me like where I'm working, what I'm doing in my work, and he asked me another question about book, like have you borrowed the book from your friend sometimes ago, and I misunderstood his question. I think that borrowed it's like stole.
Oh,
Yeah, and
okay.
I said, "What do you mean? You mean that like took the book and even if my friend don't know it,
Uh-huh.
uh, he shake his head
Oh,
like
wow.
yes, and I like yeah, I misunderstood it, and I tried like I say like I would rather make friends, not enemies, so I don't like.
Okay. Well, so I find it really interesting that he didn't actually explain or didn't paraphrase the question for you and just nodded. That's really strange. So he just wanted to see how you will react, probably.
I
Okay,
don't.
talking about part two, where you get a card. What card did you get, and did you answer it well?
He gave me a card with the question about the last place when we go with my friends. Um, and yeah, it was not so hard for me, and I think it was like this this 1 minute for preparation was for me really important. Then I can uh, like I had a break for the talking like question interaction, and I speak about the mall. I speak for 2 minutes while instructor interrupt me.
So non-stop for 2 minutes, no problems.
Yeah, yeah,
And how did he interrupt you? With a question, or did he just say thank you?
yeah. Thank you. This is enough.
Okay. What do you think about your answer for part two? Were you satisfied with it? Do you think it was good enough?
I think it was much better than the first part.
Mm-hmm.
And it was good for me. But I think I made a lot of mistake with like this the tenses, as well as like I haven't so strong vocabulary for them
Mm-hmm.
all.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think I have a repetition of some words.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And the last part 3, is normally somehow related or connected to the second topic. What questions did he ask you there?
He asked me about friendship,
Mm-hmm.
about friendship in the real world and the social media. What did I think
Mm-hmm.
about friendship
Mm-hmm.
and related question for
Mm-hmm.
that part. So
And how
I
do you
said,
feel about that part? Do you think you
uh,
answered well?
I think I answered well because I have some like positions or statement
Mm-hmm.
regarding like the social media and friendship in the social media,
Mm-hmm.
as well as friendship in the real world. So I think it helps me to answer this question,
Mm-hmm.
but I still made some mistakes with tenses and
Mm-hmm.
other stuff.
Mm-hmm. I see. Okay. And a general question to you. Are you satisfied with your test, or do you think you could do better?
I satisfied with the first two parts. I
Mm-hmm.
think it was like on the top of my knowledge.
You mean
I
listening and
miss,
reading?
yeah, listening and reading.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that I will pass it for a much higher score in another time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not satisfied with the writing because like I don't manage my time in the proper way
Mm-hmm.
to write uh, two tasks. And I'm completely unsatisfied with speaking part because I don't prepare for it well, and I was like in a bad condition to pass this test
Mm-hmm.
because I don't sleep enough. It was 4 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, after like non-sleep night and a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
caffeine before this, and I can't sleep before this test. So yeah, and when I made a mistake in the answer, my name is, and I made mistake in these three words, it shows me how worse, like how bad I am in speaking.
Next one would be, what do you think you could do better next time? So if you had to take IELTS, let's say next month, what would you do differently?
I think I will focus on preparation
Mm-hmm.
for writing and speaking
Mm-hmm.
exam. I think I need a lot of practice with speaking,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah,
Mm.
probably that's it. Yeah,
Okay.
more practice. Yeah.
And the last question for you, what advice would you give to someone who is going to take IELTS for the first time in their life?
For the first time. Yeah. Firstly, you should have a good teacher
Mm-hmm.
and who will like give you in some methodic approach all information you need to know about IELTS test and the like approach for each type of tasks as well. Because when you receive the test, you should know which type of these questions you have,
Mm-hmm.
like which approach you should use to manage your time properly. The next a really important point is do the homework.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, make a lot of practice. Yeah, it helps really good when you have this structure. You should practice. You should uh, and not only know the approaches, but also have experience to use it
Mm-hmm.
in the real situation near the real.
Mm-hmm.
And like what else?
About the day of
Realize,
the exam, what would you say?
yeah, you should sleep enough before the test.
Mm-hmm.
you should be in good condition, like good health condition, that your mind should be like free.
Mm-hmm.
So without like stress
Mm-hmm.
about something other. And I think it's important not eat too much
Mm-hmm.
before the exam.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it works. And during the exam, use capitalizing, like capitalize each letter from the answer.
Mm-hmm. Okay, to minimize the mistakes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right. Thank you very much. That was really great
Thank you.
insight. Thank you for your experience and sharing it with us. So it was nice talking to you, and I hope what you shared is really useful and will be useful for others too.
Hope so.
Thanks a lot, and
Thank you.
yeah, goodbye.